All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Got a lot of really interesting templates setting up for today to finish off the week. Hopefully finishing off the week strong. We got some big news announcements. Market might be pretty volatile. We'll see. So real quick, a mic check. If y'all could throw a one up there if you can hear me. I want to make sure I'm sounding good. I don't sound like a robot. I don't sound like, I don't know, like my mic is exploding. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Let's get into the stream. If I can pull this up, there we go. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express and probably warranty of any kind, including accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free, pause the stream, read through this. That way you know I'm not a financial advisor. Good deal. All right. Holy cow, this thing's going to fall over. Let's try and make sure that doesn't happen. All right. Taking a look. NASDAQ, we're going to start out strong on the stream today. We're just going right into some pairs, and we're going to take a look and see because there's some really good templates setting up, and I want to make sure that we have all the information we need leading us into 8:30, which is going to be the news. There's some news announcements at 8:30, and then there's also some news announcements at 10. So we have an 8:30, 10 schedule today, which is not really my favorite. I don't really like when there's 8:30, 10, and 10 news. Sometimes it can act a little strange, but we're going to find out today. All right, so yesterday, NASDAQ, number one, I want to zoom out. I'm on a 5-minute chart, which is nuts. Let's go out to a 15. And let's just talk about some... I can't do it. I can't go straight into it. I have to explain just a little bit about, previous days, highs and lows. Hopefully you all have watched that video that I just put out. And really just every video on my channel. The entire system, or trading in general, is all about the three things that markets do. Breaking out, trending, breaking out, failing, reversing, going to the other side of a range, or basically staying inside of a trading range between a high and a low. So we use the previous week's high and low, the previous day's high and low as our rectangle, as our box, to determine or find these different types of templates, right? So we're looking for breakout trends, breakout reverses, or something that stays in a trading range. I kind of throw the trading range out the window and try to find something better. But whenever you have a 3-day opportunity, you're in the third level, or you're coming out of level 3 and now you're in level 1, going higher to 2, and then eventually up to 3 and things like that. Basically, you're finding a reversal is what I'm saying. You can find a lot of really big explosive moves, and when those templates present, they're usually pretty good. So you can find things where, I know when I draw stuff like this, it's probably kind of annoying, but just bear with me, okay? Previous day's high and low, or maybe the opening range for the week or something like that. And then on the following day, having something that breaks out. All right. And then maybe a day where you get a pullback. All right. Maybe this is the 3-day template, which would be breakout, pullback. And then on the third day, maybe looking for a trending opportunity. Is it going to be like that every single time? No, absolutely not. Sometimes it will break out, and this breakout will eventually fail, where this turns into a peak formation high, and you get a first red day, and we start seeing things capitulate back down. So I try to be paying attention to both sides of what template could be showing up, because I've seen both of those things, or both of those scenarios happen over and over again. Holy cow, I just want to delete all this stuff, and it's not letting me. There we go. All right. You could also have reversal templates and things like that, where... hey, I appreciate that, June. Yeah, I was looking a little rough. I got the haircut and feeling back to my normal self. Appreciate it. All right, so kind of the reason I explain it like that is because this is kind of what the NASDAQ could be doing right now. All right, we've had a market that has been going down. Now, we did trigger the previous week's high up here as well, which is also something to look at. We have a place where an anchor point where the market could have started dumping from. All right, whenever you have a failed breakout like this, that's usually going to be your anchor for where the market could go back to eventually. unless there's a reset. All right, there could be a reset at some point, and then we could use that as our anchor for the next 3 weeks. But in this case, we had the failed breakout over here 2 weeks ago, and then we had a breakout. This is a week that broke out to the downside. All right, so this is week 1, breakouts down. Week 2, breakouts down. And then this week opened up in 3 weeks of breakouts down. We had a first green day on Monday. And then we had a peak formation high put in on Tuesday. So peak formation low, peak formation high, and then Wednesday broke out. So this starts a 3-day template now, leading us into Friday. All right, so day 1, day 2, day 3 being Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a weekly template. Not necessarily for the 3-day cycle, but in this case, it is actually going to be day 3 today because we had day 1 on Monday. We had day 2 on Tuesday. We had day 3 on Wednesday that broke out and closed, resetting the cycle to day 1. And then our day 2 was basically an inside day or an inside bar, down close day. And then that leads us into today, which is Friday. All right. So that's all great. That's a lot of details. What is the part that actually matters about this? The thing that actually matters the most, in fact, I'm going to delete all this and we're just going to point out the most important things. From left to right, what is the most important thing starting on Wednesday? This day closed as a breakout day. All right, that's the most important part of what happened on Wednesday. Okay, the second most important thing is the levels. Because this day closed in breakout, I project that breakout level crossed. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at yesterday and say, was yesterday some type of signal day? Is there something I should be looking for based off of yesterday? And I had a down close day, which maybe we could consider to be a first red day. But I think that I'm just going to label this as an inside day. And I'm going to move on. All right, I might even put my end of day consolidation up here. Something like this, just because of how obvious and clean that it was. We had this nice rectangle. But in reality, the only thing that I really need is this line drawn right here. Okay, this breakout level. Okay, now, I had an inside day, a breakout, possibly a pullback, but also possibly a capitulation. I don't know. Not yet. We have to wait and see, and around 9:30, maybe after the news might be the confirmation. And I would look at today and say, based off of what happened yesterday and what is happening today, do I have something setting up? Do I have anything? And right now, all I'll say is I think that we're probably in a bit of a trading range in between a high and a low. And we've just got peak formations and peak formations. And I need to wait. All right. So the idea being, day 1 was a breakout close. Day 2 was an inside day or a pause day. And then day 3, looking for either a parabolic trend continuation back towards the high of the week, which is a recurring playbook opportunity, but also being aware of and cautious of the only 3 things that markets do, which is breakout, fail, and reverse, which is a big reason for why I have this breakout level up here, because if we start breaking down and making lower lows and lower highs, there's a good chance that maybe we're going back to revisit the other side of the range, which would be the low of the week. Okay. They attempted to make a lower low and it failed, so they went back to the high. If the high then fails, we're probably going to revisit the low. Remember that slide that I put up a few videos ago where I said this will save you 100 hours? It really was not clickbait of any kind. Understanding that whenever a market tries to go in one direction, it's going to try and go the other direction. And if it fails, we're going back in the other direction to try and retest again. And a lot of times it will succeed or whatever. Okay. Good stuff. We'll go to US30 next. All right. I'm not going to waste everybody's time. US30 looks exactly the same. Wednesday, peak formation low and a breakout close. Triggering previous day's high on Thursday. Okay, so not an inside day. We actually had a down close day, but I'm still going to project this level across. And I will continue to watch to see. Do we start breaking down and making lower lows and lower highs? Is this breakout level going to fail? Are we going back down to previous day's low, or maybe even the low of the week? Okay. The other side of that, and the side that I'm really looking for, is breakout, pullback, peak formation low, looking for trend continuation back towards the high of the week. That would be my big playbook opportunity. Okay. This is 3 levels of drop. I don't know if you noticed the annotations I had up here. We had a breakout and a consolidation up high that reversed down. These are very minute details, right? This is really just a way of looking at the chart and a way of looking at price and how it moves and price action in general. Okay, this has not the biggest details on the chart are the ones that I have already pointed out. All right, this is just me noticing that we've broken out, went in a consolidation, dropped it down once, dropped it down twice, dropped it down a third time, and put in a peak formation low. So this could be considered to me level 3. Again, all small details, just looking at how the market is moving. Now, if we continue to go lower, then obviously that is wrong. What do I do? Day separators on my chart. Hey, day separators, trading view settings. Okay, just go to events, click session breaks, and you'll get that little line up there, all right? If you want the weekly separator, mine's not even up there. Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's get this up here real quick. That's weird. It should be up there. All right. Well, my weekly separator is trying to play some games, so it looks like I need to delete it and re-download it. But this is the one that I use, and it just puts a red line over here for me. Yeah, no worries. Okay, S&P, same thing. Not going to waste everybody's time. All right, same exact template. We had a breakout close, same as the NASDAQ, same as US30. We had the pullback in 3 levels, a drop. I'm still going to project my breakout level across because the only 3 things that markets do. I'm going to look for either the trend continuation of the breakout, or if they start breaking down and making lower lows and lower highs, maybe off the news, maybe something like that, being aware of that. Maybe not necessarily looking to take that trade. And if I did, I would have to base it off of this could be a first red day in a down moving market. Okay, this could be a first red day in a down moving market. So that, if I were to take the short, that would be my reasoning. Okay, the Russell, again, same thing. Now, the Russell does look a little bit different in the sense that if I'm projecting my breakout level across, we've now began to consolidate underneath of that breakout level compared to layering on top. Okay, so this does look a little bit different. And you can see my previous annotations from earlier in the week. Day 1, then we had an inside day. Then we get a breakout day or breakout close on Wednesday. This is going to reset the cycle, day 1, day 2, and then today's day 3. So we're in the 3rd day of the 3-day cycle. And we're just consolidating. We're in a rectangle, the same as the others. It's just the location of where the consolidation is a little bit different. Whereas this is layering on top of the breakout level. The Russell seems to be consolidating underneath. All right. That's going to do it for the indexes. The reason I said that I think that these could be, all right, might be, it has the potential to based off of the template, blah, 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 blah. The reason I said it could have a large move is just because of what kind of template this is. Very large, explosive move, a bit of a pullback, and then are we going to get that large trend move continuation back towards the high, which is decent. And that's a pretty decent move back towards the high if that were to happen. All right. Good deal. Let's go to oil. Let's take a look at oil and see, maybe we're going to, who knows? Who knows what we're going to do on oil? All right, we're going to zoom out a little bit. I'm on a 15-minute chart. We've been going down. Market go down. All right, Paulie, are you in here? Yeah, you're in here. Market go down. All right, we've been breaking out to the downside and closing. All the moves are large right now. Yeah, heck yeah. We get a lot of volatility. It's good stuff, though. So we've been going down, we've been breaking out. And at the beginning of this week, we triggered previous week's low, which is good. I like to see that. Yesterday, or Wednesday, I should say, first green day. We had a bit of a first green day over here that I thought could be a trap. And it was. This was a good trap trade. Not in my session, though. In fact, this actually set up perfectly. I think we actually talked about it in the live stream about... No, I remember I did say this. I was talking about it where I said this was the trade right here. This is the setup. This is the playbook opportunity that I look for on or off of a trap trade. The breakout, the pullback to previous day's level, and then the continuation, the follow through down. It just didn't happen in my session, so I couldn't take the trade. And then that led to a market making higher highs. This broke out, made a higher high. And I think this was the FOMC, the minutes or whatever on that day. And we get the huge, big run back up towards the high. But what does that do for us now? It's going to be very similar to what we've already kind of been looking at on some of the other instruments, the other pairs. This is a first green day. As far as like a signal day, right? We had a first green. And that first green did not eventuate on Thursday. We had a breakout that has potentially failed. All right, and similar to the Russell, we are now consolidating under that. All right. Could this be a first red day? Absolutely. It certainly could be. Could it be a breakout for a pullback for a trend continuation? Absolutely, it could be. All right, I would be fine and willing to take either one. On the day, all I'm going to do, just like I do on everything else, on the day, I just look at a 5-minute chart, or sometimes the 15. Sometimes the 15 is also very glaring. But I really like, especially as of late, I really like the 5. I just use my rules for structure. Right now, there is none really on the day. There's just kind of consolidation. Really just the high and the low of the day is my levels, unfortunately. We've been just consolidating on the inside of this high and the low. Same thing with a lot of things. This is the Russell. We're just consolidating between the high and the low. There's no breakouts and structure and things like that. Whereas gold, which is what I'm about to go to, and if you have not already, please like the stream. I do appreciate it greatly, as it will help significantly push it out to the world. If it's providing value. If not, thumbs down it. I don't care. Whatever. All right. So oil, I'm going to zoom back out. We'll take a look at it one more time. First green day, a breakout close. I project that level across every single time because the market only does 3 things. And then we've possibly pulled back, which is a part of the template, right? We broke out. We pulled back. Are we going to get the vertical trend continuation today, or is this going to maybe just sit inside of the high and the low? Maybe today's just a consolidation at the end of a week, and maybe next week is better. Who knows? But that's what I'm going to be personally looking for because that is a reoccurring template, and we'll see if it shows up. It'd be nice to have a day of just charting for next day. What do you mean, Paulie? All right, let's go to gold. Now, gold is one of my favorites right now, and I'll tell you why. I really like the indexes. I think that these are solid templates, but I think that gold is a close second, if not maybe even potentially doing a little bit better. Now, gold has been on an absolute run, and it's presented this template a few times, okay? It has presented this template a few times, and I keep on saying this, but in a market that is performing a range expansion on a higher time frame, you'll get this template and it will not reverse. All right, it'll just keep doing this and it won't reverse. And what I really would need to see is a large blow off top with this template, and that will usually be the better opportunity for this trade. All right, and hopefully some of you are already kind of looking at engaging what I'm saying, and hopefully you've been around the stream a bit and you're just like, oh, I can see what he's about to start drawing up on the chart. Because the first thing I usually look for is going to be, 3-day cycle or signal days or how did yesterday close? Like one of those 3 things. And the very first thing that I noticed is we've been going up. All right, market has been climbing. We've been going up. Yesterday was a breakout close. We closed higher. Okay, I think yesterday also had 3 sessions of breakout. Yes, it did. All right, and I think maybe even, no, this is 2 sessions, but still. All right, so we've got 3 days now of breakouts. And I'm going to zoom out, and we're going to take a look at one more thing, because I've noticed that market be going up long time. All right, we've been breaking out, we've been breaking out, we've been breaking out. And then we triggered the previous week's low, which could indicate or could signal potentially that there's a lower low. All right, again, slide could save you 100 hours. We've triggered the low. So what does that mean? We're going to go back and retest the high in some form or variation. And I can look for 3-day templates, or at least use this information to help guide me in my decision making on what kind of template to look for. So we've triggered the previous week's low, and then we broke out for 3 days, and then now it's the 3rd day of the week, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, day 3. It's also, I think, the 3rd day of the cycle. Maybe. And we have 3 sessions of rise. All right, we broke out at the very beginning of the day. We had some follow through in Asia. We got level 1, session 1. Okay, level 2, session 2, which I think was in London. And then session 3, possibly level 3. We might have to go back to the high. This is a 15-minute chart, so maybe we have to go back to the high again. Let's go down, take a look. All right, now on a 5-minute chart, we have broke the high, and then they pulled back, and then they went higher. Now, I want to throw this out there with some zest, all right? A little bit of zest, but me looking for a lower low on a 5-minute chart when the overall market, the monthly, the daily, the weekly, all have been pulling higher, that 5-minute chart has very little meaning, okay? But if I'm looking for the setup, the fact that I have 3 days of breakouts, 3 sessions of breakout, the market has made higher highs and higher lows throughout the day, and then it just came down and made a lower low. That tells me that maybe my template is showing up, or maybe my setup is forming. All right, so now I can go into the news. I can go into 9:30. With this information in mind, I just wait for the time, and I can wait and see, okay, they've already made the lower low. We're kind of compressing down into the low, but they're maybe starting to form some lower highs. I don't know. I have no idea until it actually happens. So around 9:30, I'll look for the trade. Maybe around the news, maybe I'll get a first bounce. If it doesn't show up, then great. If it does show up, then great. Now, this is a 3-session setup, and also a 3-day setup, and also maybe even a 3-hour setup. I don't know, but let me show you my playbook for those of you who might be new to the stream. Nope, that's playbook drawings. Cam, weirdo. Go back up. Should be at the very top. Okay, so week 3, 3 to 4 weeks of breakouts, ending in 3 sessions of breakout. I have a few different variations that I like to see. Number 1, I like them to break out, and I like it to be clean. I don't like to see any retest, because there's money sitting there for the market to go back to. All right, I like to see a base, which is essentially just a higher low. In this case, in the flip scenario, it would be a lower high. All right, so base that provides some space for the market to fall back down through, a retest of the high. This is kind of a 2 peaks variation, but basically I just need a retest of the high and that good timing, the follow through back down towards the low. All right, so again, clean breakout, base, space. This is a 3 peaks variation. Again, bit of a blow off top, really like to see. And this was also a bit of a blow off top where you get the 3 peaks. Actually, I've drawn this wrong, excuse me. Okay, Asia, London, New York. And then coming into New York, you get the follow through. There's also had a lower low on the day, which is nice. Gives you a little bit of an anchor. But base, again, the space. And then my first target whenever I take these trades is always going to be the previous day's high. That's why I like to see the space, so that way I've got a lot of room to get back down to. previous day's high. My second target is always the previous day's close. And sometimes you'll get a really explosive move back down towards like previous day's low and things like that. And that would be good. Yeah, they don't, a lot of times these won't have the lower low. I think this was a 15-minute chart, TR. So what I would do is just look at a lower time frame and wait for it to start to break down on the lower time frame. Because it does have a lower low, but this is the lower low here, unfortunately. This is the lower low here. And I think this, I'd have to look at this again. There really wasn't much one. This is the lower low down over here. So a lot of times I'm a little bit more aggressive on my entries with these, but still about the same. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns, or pairs that you all would like to see? I'm more than happy to answer. Yeah, sometimes I give it too late, and that's pretty much every other setup, TR. I'm not going to be aggressive like that. But with those, maybe a little bit more. But I need to be very confident. Like, for example, right now, the way that this is moving, I'm not very confident that this is going to play out. Is it good that we got a little bit of a lower low here? Yeah. But I'd like to see a bit more of a trap, like a little bit more of a long trap, a bull trap, and then a very strong reversal off of that bull trap. Like if we were to go back to the high, let's say, for example, let's say that it blows off and we get it like up here, all right, and it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock, so like a 3-hour setup, and then it starts to reverse strongly. That would make me feel pretty good. All right. I might be a little bit more aggressive with that. But right now where it's just kind of consolidated in a range, yes, it is going higher and things like that, but it's kind of just consolidated. You know, EURUSD. Okay, EURUSD. 3 days of longs have been triggered into the market. We had a day of longs here, 2, and then now today is 3. How long has this been going up, or is this the first? Oh, too long. Maybe Keith, but a lot of times you'll notice that the chart was already set up for whatever takes place. Like Wednesday of this week, you know, he said something supposedly and the chart responded to it, but really there was FOMC minutes and the chart was already set up well for the movement that took place. Now, it was a pretty extreme movement. But if you look at the chart and as far as the template and things like that, it was already set up pretty well for what took place. All right, so 3-week setup possibly. Peak formation low that failed. So we go back to the high. The high, we broke out, right? Market only does 3 things. So now we broke out. We broke out again. And we've got 3 days of longs triggered into the market. So what do I want to see based off of that information? You know, would I even be willing to take anything today? Okay, there's a few things that I like to see. Number one, front side of a move, broken. Trend lines are kind of really not reliable at all. Maybe this has been broken, maybe not. But at the very least, what I like to see is lower lows and lower highs on the day. If I was going to take a 3-session or a 3 days of breakouts or 3 days of longs triggered into the market to sort of trade, really like to see some kind of lower low. Don't have that yet. All right, we made higher highs. We pulled back, level 1, level 2, 3 pushes down. Would I be willing to take the long? No. There was a setup. What time is this? Okay, so there was a setup in London. Asia makes a higher high. London pulls back and is the trade. So this is the higher high, the breakout. Top of the box becomes the bottom of the box. And then notice how it's came back down in a bit of a stair step, and then you get your peak formation, and then using price action in the time of day, get your little channel and your follow through. Is this the new hour? Right at the new hour. Beautiful. Okay, so back up through the high. Would I look to take anything else on this? Probably not, because there's not a lower low. Would I be willing to go back to the high as a trend trade? Probably not, because this was my playbook opportunity down here. Was there a short before London? No. TR. In my opinion, no, there is not, because it's just a market making higher highs and higher lows and breaking out. Like, I would have to base it off the fact that we had an engulfment and we traded back into the high, and then I would have to take that. But there was no, as far as my criteria goes, I don't really like to trade something that I believe just to be a pullback. That's why I wait for the lower low. Okay. Any other pairs? My dogs. This hair. If any of you got dogs, you know that the hair just spawns in weird places. It's crazy. I can't vacuum enough. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great stream. I hope you all have got some value from this. If you have on your way out, please make sure you leave a like on the video. And maybe as the stream is ending, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And just let me know that these streams are helping. Appreciate every single one of you. I do these streams every Wednesday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. And I put out a video every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Good rest of your weekend as well. Get some relaxation in, maybe some study time in there. I'll see you all next week. All right. Bye-bye.